What's going on, guys? Biomechanic here. Thank you very much for watching. Today I got my very good friend Dan, who's going to show you guys some ailments that we found on him. He's an Olympic weightlifter, came all the way from Sweden to come see me and get treated. How very nice of him. And one thing that I did find with him was he complained to me about right knee pain, occasional right hip pain, but there was a lot of things that I found on his posture that I knew that his right knee was just a cause of something else. And I don't know if you guys can already see it. If you guys are looking at him, you're definitely probably looking at him with his body instead of me. But you actually see how his right shoulder looks a little bit more lower than the left. So it's kind of like in that slanted position. We like to stand on the right leg too much most oftentimes because we have more body weight on the right side. We have a liver here. We have 3 lobes of the lung on the right as opposed to 2 on the left. So if you can stand a little bit more closer, man. So you guys can see that how his right shoulder looks a lot lower than left, but also looks more forward as opposed to the left. Now, this is not a shoulder dysfunction, it's actually a ribcage dysfunction because the ribcage has a certain shape caused by the diaphragm where his actual ribcage is looking to the left. So he's side bend right and looking left. So that's his posture there. Straighten up. So again, Dan came to me for right knee pain. He's an Olympic weightlifter. He feels the knee pain at the very deep end of the squat. He doesn't feel the pain anymore. We worked on it for a couple of days. Looks like he's doing very well. But there are still certain things that I keep finding with him that I have to address again and again. And that comes with constant use of practice to make the exercise stick. So one thing that I found with him was this little ailment here where I know that his body weight shifts over to his right side and he's placing too much weight on the right knee. So what I need him to do is kind of get off the right side and have him standing more on the left. So I'm going to show you guys this awesome technique on how to kind of address this. But before we do that, I want you to take a look at what's going on in the back. So let's turn around. Here now you probably see a little more significant issues. A little bit more. That's it. So now, as you guys can see how the right shoulder blade also looks a lot lower than left. You can actually see how the right lat just pulled the right shoulder blade down. And also the lat was the other muscle responsible for keeping the shoulder blade forward and down. So what we see here is that the lat overpowers here, whereas on the left we see this upper trap a little more developed, and how you can see how his left shoulder higher again than the right. But what we need to address the most is not his shoulder placement, but more of his rib cage. When I see a left shoulder higher than the right, that tells me that this side is too inflated, whereas the right side looks more deflated. So you turn around again, man. If you guys look in the front, we see how his lower ribs on the left, they kind of protrude more, as opposed to the right, they kind of stick in more. This little protrusion of those ribs, which we all have, is basically a flattening of the diaphragm, which is underneath. And a diaphragm flattens when we inhale. So that tells me if his left ribs flare out, his diaphragm is already flat on that left side. So that means he's going to keep the air in there. Whereas on the right, his ribs are stuck in. So the diaphragm is more domed because it pushed out all the air. But this shoulder went down now because this side is the deflated side. When ribs rise, when we inhale, that's called external rotation. When ribs go down, that's called external rotation. That's what happens when we exhale. In this case, we have Dan's ribs on his right side are down in internal rotation, whereas on the left is all in external rotation. We want to reverse that. I'm going to do a really awesome trick right now. Try it for now, see how it feels. All right, we're going to see right now on Dan what it's like to get the shoulder blade back in place. So let's give it a shot now. So in this position, Dan's going to have his left foot on a block and with the band, preferably moderate weight. If you're doing this for the first time, you can use something lighter. But Dan, as you can see, you can definitely tolerate a lot more resistance than that. So what Dan's going to do is going to keep it under his left foot, wrap the band around him, and he's going to take the other end of the band, reaching up with the right arm. What that does now, it places his whole right side in a more lengthened position. The block underneath the left foot gives him a reference to sense his left hamstring, left glute, and even feel his left abs, because this little passive lift from that block kind of hikes up his left hip. That's going to bring the obliques together, and we need the obliques to pull in those left ribs. and we want the other ribs to expand. In this position, the right knee is locked out. Make sure you have that locked out. He's going to keep a slight posterior tilt, meaning kind of keeping the butt tucked. He should definitely feel a lot of glute there. You feel the glute there, right? Yeah. Now, in that position, the arm is not just straight overhead, but overhead and forward. And in that position, from here, we want to inhale through the nose, man. Blow out, reach forward. As he keeps his hand on his left ribs, he senses the ribs going in. Once he breathes in through the nose, he senses his whole right side expand with air. Blow out, reach a little further. So every time he blows out, he punches further and further forward. Take a breath in. Blow out and reach further, man. Very, very good. Let it rest. All right, let's do one more set. Let's turn on to the other side. So I want you guys to see now what happens on his right side when he breathes in. What you guys saw is what happens to his left side when he exhales, which means everything should close there. And he should feel a lot of left abs, a lot of left hamstring, and getting the left shoulder down to crunch, while on the right side, he's trying to expand it. So left hand on the left lower ribs, man. Okay, nice posterior tilt, left hip a little bit back. Okay, just make sure we have the right knee locked out. In that position, elbows fully locked out. Take a breath in, man. Blow out, reach forward. Go, 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 go. So he's doing a little bit of a side bend to the left. As he breathes in, let's watch that. Nice. Blow out and reach. Hold. Very good. As you guys can see, he's going to expand this whole right side. Very good. Blow out and reach. Very, very good. Let's go a little higher right here. Take a breath in. Blow out and reach up. Yeah. 3, 2, 1, rest. Broke a sweat there. All right, now let's take a look. Let's stand in front of the camera. Let's show everybody what magic we did. Whoa, that looks amazing. So as you guys can see, I don't know if you can see it from there, but right shoulder a lot higher than left. It's actually quite even with the left. It's back in, it's not really retracted as I want it to be, but I wanted that elevation to occur, which means we released his right lat, but expanded his rib cage on the right, bring some more air in there while deflating the left. So let's see from the back. Let's see the posterior view. And I don't know if you guys can see it from there, but that looks quite beautiful. You can actually see how his shoulder blades just got a new shape here, popping out a lot more, much more aligned. So this will be much more appropriate if you guys are looking to bench. If you're looking to snatch, in Dan's case, he's willing to snatch or kind of overhead pressing that he's doing. He needs these shoulder blades fully aligned to avoid any impingements on the shoulders. But not only impingements, but other stuff like labrum tears or mid-scapular pain. This is something we need to fix. So you can turn around, man. So as you guys can see, that breathing is a big part to rehab. It's something that we need to focus on nearly every single training session that we do, making sure that we have appropriate alignment. It's not going to carry out for long, but that depends on how often you do the specific exercise. As long as Dan is able to do this exercise once every 2 hours, that creates great neuroplastic changes to the brain, making it important for his body to maintain itself that way. So the more repetition we give of specific exercises again and again and again throughout the day, the more the results stay that way, because the brain mends these new nerve connections you're trying to fix. So in Dan's case, I would say that if he does this for one set of 4 to 5 breaths every couple of hours, this should be definitely maintained. There's a lot more things need to be involved, such as creating great vestibular and visual systems. That is also responsible for scoliotic postures. But in Dan's case, I would say one exercise that will help him get that overhead snatch more symmetrical is to constantly breathe into that right side. So hopefully this movement can definitely help you out, guys. Let me know if you have any questions. Looking forward to your comments. So thank you very much for watching, guys.